I was tempted to legit just add these over. Well, I took his hat one time and torqued it. Snag the hat. Mounted in the bed of my truck.
First, the starting lineup for your Cincinnati Saints. In goal, Justin Saliba. In defense, R.J. Best, Drew Mitkiff, Nathan Sexton, Gary Henderson, John Cottrell, Ketis Tidelli, Mark Hansen, Phil Haggerty, Kwame Sarkoti, and Craig Hurd. Again, your referees for this evening, Nicholas Wodo, Jeffrey Cook, Democratis Pachalitis, and Christopher Trache. And now the starting lineup for your FC Buffalo. Also in defense, Fox Slaughtermaker. Also in defense, Bobby Ross. And outside back, Matt Bischoff. In midfield, Connor Willings. And Rob Brandell. Also in the midfield, Andrew Ferguson. Julian Akizi. In the midfield, wearing the captain's armband, Brian Knapp. And starting your pause. Remove your hats for the playing and performance of today's national anthem.
I've been to World again for the third year by Russ Angelina. Russ, back again.
Very good to be back with you, Ben.
We're here this year on WNYmedia.net. Watch the games also on
Getting some
WBNY.
announcements before we get started. A reminder from Hamburg's mayor, who is here tonight, to Cincinnati, Buffalo. The Hamburg Music Festival is all day today at $10 wristband.
Kicked off between Detroit City and AFC Cleveland, and Detroit City came out on top 3-2.
Yeah.
But tonight, Russ, let's talk about a couple things we can expect from this year's FC Buffalo team.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to predict because it's a very new look squad with only 7 returning veterans. We had a lot of turnover from last year, but there's a lot of promise here with a lot of good talent being brought in by the club. Given it's an early season game, you'll see maybe an experimental lineup insofar as not having the full roster available. But there's a lot of good options here. The question is, how do you replace the production of Russ Cicerone? And, with the Brendan Murphy looking at different options, such as, Scott Doney up top, the 6'5" forward who's able to really play a target game, maybe a little bit not as similar as Cicerone's second forward play last year, but it's going to be a good challenge with Cincinnati coming in here. You saw last night with Detroit and Cleveland really the speed and the quality of the competition of the Midwest region this year. So it's going to be quite a season, and hopefully Buffalo can return to the heights that they saw in 2013 with their lone playoff appearance.
All right, Russ, going from right to left tonight, FC Buffalo wearing their home blues with yellow trim and yellow socks. Cincinnati going left to right, wearing their road blacks with blue socks and white trim. We are close to kickoff. FC Buffalo is huddling together, just getting ready, preparing. We can go through the starting lineups once more just to get the listeners acclimated. Starting in goal for FC Buffalo is Andrew Coughlin. He comes back after 1 year away. He transferred from Syracuse to Canisius, and he had a sterling year last year for Canisius. In the back, Bobby Ross, Fox Slopemaker, Matt Bischoff, and Matt Ferguson. In the midfield for FC Buffalo, Andrew Ferguson, Rob Randell, Connor Williams, Julian Akese, and Brian Knapp, who is wearing the captain's armband tonight. And as Russ mentioned earlier, Scott Doney, wearing number 9, the 6'5" striker for FC Buffalo. We are ready to get underway here at Howe Field at Hamburg High School. Pleasant evening for soccer.
Very pleasant.
The ball is live. Brian Knapp plays the ball deep midfield down the line to Matt Ferguson. Ball headed out of play early for an FC Buffalo throw-in.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Ben. We're here at Hamburg's Howe Field.
Long throw into the box. Bouncing ball in the middle. Headed forward. Julian Akese tries to close down Kwame Sarkodie, who ushers the ball out of play. A goal kick upcoming for the Cincinnati Saints.
Yeah, here at Howe Field, just one game scenario for FC Buffalo. We'll be back at All High, the club's, I guess you would say, traditional home next week. But good chance to get out here to the South Towns and really show the folks down here, their local pro team, or semi-pro team, rather.
You'll have to bear with us with Cincinnati's players. We do not have a lineup card that has numbers on it today, so we are a little short-handed in terms of a team sheet, let's say. But we'll do our best, and hopefully at halftime we'll be able to get our numbers squared away. But FC Buffalo now on the right wing. Julian Akizi tries to dribble past Kwame Sarkodie, the captain for Cincinnati. It's still an FC Buffalo throw-in. And Brian Knapp, the team's dedicated throw-in taker, just keep the ball a good 30 yards. Whistles this one deep into the box towards the head of Doney. Doney can't win it out of the air, cleared away from danger by Cincinnati.
Yeah, Doney, 6'5", really a prototypical target forward up top for FC Buffalo, who will be playing with his back to goal and really a good aerial threat for the Blitzers this season.
Cincinnati possessing in their own end. Ball played wide. Cincinnati is right outside back, picks his head up, plays a short ball. Receives it back. Deep ball out of the back for Cincinnati. FC Buffalo's Fox Slopemaker rises and heads it to the left side. Played early by Cincinnati in a dangerous position. Slopemaker comes into a 50-50 ball, wins it. Now here's Andrew Ferguson, brother of Matt Ferguson, who he plays back, number 14. The ball goes all the way. Early war from the referee, Bobby Ross, writhing in pain on the ground. And there's some early noise from the Situation Room, FC Buffalo's fan supporters group.
Yeah, good presence from TSR tonight. And Bobby Ross drawing that yellow card, one of the few returning veterans. Very good center back, able to get forward and be a threat on set pieces with a good goal-scoring ability. But, a little bit of a rash challenge there early from Cincinnati.
Bobby Ross was a standout at the MPSL Combine this past winter and really had some momentum heading into the year. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd gotten a pro contract maybe with the Rhinos or something like that. But we're happy to see him back, at least Blitzer fans are.
Absolutely.
Ball to Brian Knapp in the middle attacking. Now 50-50 ball, won by Bischoff. Flicked on towards Akizi, but played forward on the right wing. Ball trickles out of bounds for an FC Buffalo throw-in just beyond midfield. We've been thankfully handed a team sheet now, so we do have numbers for Cincinnati. So all our Cincinnati listeners and viewers can breathe a sigh of relief now.
4th division problems.
Challenged by Brandell, and the ball is played long by Cincinnati back towards midfield, but FC Buffalo can track it down. It'll be a throw-in on the right side for Bobby Ross.
Good energy early from FC Buffalo, really being able to pin Cincinnati in. No real opportunities yet, but good energy early on.
Ross is overruled, and the linesman points in the other direction, and Cincinnati will throw. Matt Bischoff rises for a header for FC Buffalo, can't win it. Good step forward and a great tackle there by Connor Willings, I believe. Connor Willings, a Bucknell player, a guy who played against Canisius twice last year, and that gave FC Buffalo staff of Brendan Murphy and Bob Roach a chance to look at out-of-town players, and sure enough, two guys from Bucknell came over and will probably see time this year for FC Buffalo.
Yeah, heavy MAC presence on the club this year.
Gary Henderson now on the right wing. Picks his head up, plays square. RJ Best back. Ball played wide now on the left side for the Cincinnati Saints, going left to right. Long ball out of the back, deep down the touchline in the direction of Phil Haggerty. Chested in midfield, a long shot from about 25 yards is well over the net, not threatening Andrew Coughlin at all. Russ, a little bit ragged so far, and it's not too surprising to see that from an early season NPSL game. Sure,
yeah, you're drawing from a lot of college players who are just getting out of school, who may be dealing with exams still. So yeah, there's definitely a bit of chemistry to be had yet for both sides, and you'll see that improve over the course of the season.
We can go through Cincinnati starters now if you'd like. We have Justin Saliba in goal. He's wearing 00. Kadus Tadele, number 2. Drew Midkiff, number 6. Kwame Sarkodie, the captain, number 4. Robbie Valdez, 7. Muhammad Saleh, 9. John Cottrell 12, RJ Best 15, Phil Haggerty 19, Mark Hansen 20, Gary Henderson 23, Nathan Sexton 24. I believe I read more than 11 names because actually we have the whole team sheet, so we don't actually have the starters down. That's all right.
You're exhaustive, Ben.
Ball in the midfield. Brian Knapp controls it for FC Buffalo. Back to Matt Henderson, who plays Coughlin again. A little bit of pressure there from RJ Best of Cincinnati. Cleared out of the zone by Andrew Coughlin and out of bounds. A smart clearance by Andrew Coughlin, who is under pressure there from a Cincinnati attacker.
Yeah, Andrew Coughlin playing out of Canisius. Started with Syracuse, but transferred back home and has had a great freshman year and should be a real asset for Buffalo this year.
Andrew Coughlin, a high school teammate of a recent U.S. national team call-up, Alex Bono.
That's right.
And they split sometime in high school, but it was understandably Bono who got the majority of the minutes. Ball played high in the air by Cincinnati, towards the target, one out of the air by Bobby Ross in the midfield. Little ping-pong action here between Cincinnati. Now going forward is R.J. Best on the right wing. Best is dispossessed by hard-working Andrew Ferguson. Plays Rob Brandell in the middle, Connor Willings, now to Brandell, carving up the middle for FC Buffalo to the right wing now. Ball played in the direction of Akizi, knocked out of play. Julian Akizi wearing 29 for FC Buffalo on the right wing. He's a Niagara winger.
He is, yes. Big part of the MAC champion team the other year.
Ball driven into the box. A chance to hit it with the left for FC Buffalo as Andrew Ferguson goes about 5 yards wide of the goal, but a very good ball across early from Brian Knapp to give Andrew Ferguson a volley, a decent volley-looking goal.
Would you call that a cross or a shot, Ben?
I would call it a cross.
Cross, okay.
A cross from Knapp, but it was Ferguson who took the shot. okay. Yeah. Goal kick here now for Cincinnati Saints. Ball sails high towards midfield. Won well by Rob Brandell. Brandell, St. Lawrence University player, the alma mater of head coach Brendan Murphy. Mm-hmm. You can always count on seeing at least a couple St. Lawrence players entering in the FC Buffalo squad, and this year it's Brandell who earns a start in his first cap. Ball bouncing towards midfield. Julian Akizi goes in for a 50-50 ball, knocked out of play. Some good physical challenges early on, Russ. Not a ton of sustained possession.
Call that.
But it'll be a Cincinnati throw on the left side, 45 yards from goal. Majority of the play so far, Russ, has been probably the 40 yards in the.
Yeah. Really taking a definitive stranglehold on the flow of the play yet, and you're seeing a lot of choppy, long balls and some good tackles, but no one's really able to take a few decent touches and play a good ball out wide or up the middle yet.
We're in the 8th minute between FC Buffalo and the Cincinnati Saints. It is scoreless. No shots on goal, I believe, so far for either team. FC Buffalo probably had the best chance on a Brian Knapp cross to Andrew Ferguson, whose volley went wide. But we're back at dead ball. Here's Andrew Coughlin playing the ball deep. Sails towards Doney. Doney can't win it out of the air. Headed forward, Brian Knapp plays back to Matt Ferguson. Matt Ferguson, who goes by the nickname of Nanu. Nanu on the left wing plays a give and go with Brian Knapp. Ball cleared out of play for an FC Buffalo throw in deep on the left wing.
For any of our new listeners, Brian Knapp actually had a pretty illustrious semi-pro career in Korea playing futsal, so he has a really good sense of tight situations in terms of playing the ball, good first touch, and is a real asset as a senior player on this team.
Brandell backs towards Doney in the box, cleared away by Cincinnati, but it was a bit of a whiff there from Gary Henderson, and the ball is out again for a throw almost in the identical spot on the left wing where Matt Nanu Ferguson had just thrown the ball in. Here's Ferguson's throw on the left wing. Points towards Doney. Doney drawing a lot of attention there. His 6'5" frame has one guy on either side of him. It's a long throw. A good one into the box. There's a foul. Doney's a little unsure of what he did wrong there, but he has a couple words with the ref and walks back on walks back to play a little defense.
Guilty of being big.
Russ mentioned earlier, FC Buffalo probably will develop a new identity this year without having Russell Cicerone, who was the focal point, really the fulcrum of FC Buffalo's attack last year. This year you'll see it a little bit more spread out, and I think in the second half we may see all three Marist players who just arrived last night And they're probably going to be a very integral part of FC Buffalo's team this year. We're talking about number 10, Eric Dahl, number 4, Dylan McVeigh, and number 2, Kevin Kapak. And those 3 names of those Maris players you really should keep an eye on because they'll be very influential this season.
Yeah, especially McVeigh and Dahl through the middle. Eric Dahl, really a traditional number 10, really has a lot of great looks going forward, is an intelligent, composed player, and if there's anybody close
Ball
to...
towards Stoney, breaks free, 2 whiffs, Julian Akizi, goal! FC Buffalo! 1-0 Blitzers. Julian Akizi puts FC Buffalo on the board, the first goal of 2015.
Kesey with the opportunistic finish on the deflection there. He had a great season, or a couple seasons at Niagara, really playing a great part in that MAC winning team, and saw the deflection and put it home with no problem. So 1-0 Buffalo, and really good opportunistic goal from the Blitzers here.
Russ, 6s and 7s at the back for Cincinnati.
I would say so, yes.
2 players whiffing on one ball. The ball trickled towards the back post where Akizi was in the perfect position for an outside mid at the back post, ready to pounce on a loose ball. That's exactly what he did, and he found the side netting for an emphatic finish and an FC Buffalo lead. Akizi with the ball again, rushing down the right side, plays the ball towards Doney. Doney wreaking havoc already in the middle, plays the ball through to Akizi. Saliba is there off his line for Cincinnati to gobble that up.
Yeah, Kesey's a very nice, tricky winger who can play in off the right side, as you're seeing. Good technical ability. He's definitely has his head in the game for this match.
John Cottrell back to Kwame Sarkodie. Kwame Sarkodie, who is the older brother of Kofi Sarkodie and Corey Sarkodie, who, if you're a diehard soccer fan, you may know one. The youngest one plays for Indiana University, and the other one is a member of the Houston Dynamo, I believe. So that is a rich soccer family. Here's a counter for Cincinnati. Number 15, RJ Best, cuts inside to his left, has a look at goal, blocked away by Fox Slopemaker. Back out to number 12, John Cottrell. Tackled away by Matt Bischoff, but he is whistled for a foul. He'll be lucky to dodge this one for a card, as number 12, John Cottrell, is rolling around on the ground about 25 yards from goal. And it was a hard tackle, Russ, but you almost had to wonder. He did get a decent amount of ball on it.
Yeah, it's winning the ball is always good, but you can't take the man with it. So
fair enough. And the yellow card is shown to Bischoff. It's a yellow card to Matt Bischoff, the Pitt Panther, here in the 13th minute.
Speaking of notable Kofis coming out of the NPSL, Kofi Opari, Detroit City FC alumni, just scoring a winning goal for DC United MLS the other night. So this league is definitely a good pipeline to the pros and a lot of good talent on display here.
There's a set piece now for Cincinnati off the restart after the yellow. A lobbed ball into the box right to Bobby Ross's head, and he clears away from danger. Ball knocked back in. Rob Brandell comes away with it on the left wing. A sliding tackle, though, by Drew Midkiff wins it back for Cincinnati. Midkiff lobs the ball into the box towards Bischoff. Bischoff wins it initially, but doesn't clear it very far, and that's Mark Hansen. Tracks it down, plays the ball back. Here's a shot from distance, blocked this time by Slopemaker. Sarkodie in traffic. Plays the ball wide to Midkiff. Pass into the middle. On control. Away from pressure. Goes to ground, wants a foul, doesn't get it, and the ball is cleared away from danger by Rob Brandell.
Ooh.
Saliba high off his line as Doney tracked that deep ball. Looked kind of innocent, but Doney really went after it hard. Almost created a good chance there.
Yeah, you're seeing Doney's, his center of gravity, so to speak, really pulling a lot of defenders and the goalkeeper also into that opportunity there. You'll see that more and more this season, I think, especially if you get great wing play from players like Julian Akizi or we'll see later Anthony Rosano as he comes into the team later this year.
If you're just joining us, it is 1-0 FC Buffalo. We're about 14 minutes into the game right now. The goal coming from Niagara's Julian Akizi off a bit of a mix-up in the box by 2 Cincinnati defenders that Akizi was Johnny on the spot and tapped it into the corner. So a good start so far for FC Buffalo.
Very good, yeah, and you're starting to see them kind of settle in. A good little combination there. Going out for a Cincy throw, but a little bit more of a Buffalo-dominated sequence in the last, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes, and looking good for the Blitzers.
Russ, we'd be a little remiss if we didn't talk more about Brian Knapp. And I know
of course we would.
I know you mentioned his futsal career. But he's in an interesting time where he's in the fourth level of the U.S. soccer pyramid. He's in his late 20s. I think he may have actually just turned 30. And
he's the old man.
He's the old man, and Brendan Murphy, the head coach for FC Buffalo, calls him the wily veteran on the team. And if you follow him on Instagram and other social media outlets, you see him spending all this time in the ice bath, and and all this time on foam rollers, and it's interesting to see because this is a guy who's still so passionate about the sport and is still such a good leader. He's like an additional coach on the field.
He's a huge asset to the club. I mean, he coaches with the Buffalo State women's team, and he's really bought into the 4 City mindset for FC Buffalo, and it's a huge asset to have because the club's only in its 6th year, and it feels like a long time, but relatively speaking, it's nothing. And to have somebody like that to really be devoted to and know the history of the club is it's definitely a very valuable commodity.
Set piece from Matt Ferguson about 35 yards away from goal. FC Buffalo drives the ball. Slopemaker's unmarked, lobs the ball towards the back post, goes over Saliba's head, but out of bounds for a goal kick. A very good ball there by Matt Ferguson off a long set piece. Slopemaker unmarked at the back post. Cincinnati still having a hard time marking up defensively.
That's right, and Slopemaker, not one of the UB products on the club this year, along with notable players such as Austin Place. It'll be really have the ability to really lock down that center defense for FC Buffalo.
Bouncing ball in the midfield. No one's come away with it cleanly. That Slopemaker grabs RJ Best by the neck, gets away with it. Cleveland keeps possession, but they're back in their own half now. Ball played to the center back. Drew Midkiff just gets away from Scott Doney. Nearly an errant touch, put him under pressure there. Gary Henderson now on the right wing, plays inside number 18, Justin Smith. Smith plays long down the line. Followed in a dangerous area, hits number 20,
Definite
Mark
handball.
Hansen on the hand. His outstretched hand knocked the ball down. It's going to be a free kick coming out for the FC Buffalo Blitzers.
Ben, we mentioned, the MLS NPSL connection. With the MLS Academy system coming to fruition in the past few years, FC Buffalo has a few different MLS Academy products, either former or current, such as Jabari Danzy with the Chicago Fire Academy, Dylan McVeigh spent some time with RSL, and Kevin Kapik with Red Bull New York. So it's good to see that the professional recognition that there is a lot of good talent at this level.
Throw in for FC Buffalo at midfield. Brandel can't bring it down cleanly. John Cottrell steps in for Cincinnati, but he loses it back to Akizi. Doney has time to turn, lays the ball off beautifully to Knapp, loses track of the ball, won by RJ Best right at midfield and plays the ball deep. Ball sails over Slopemaker's head for FC Buffalo, deep into their own third, but Bobby Ross keeps it and plays the ball back to the feet of Andrew Coughlin, FC Buffalo's goalie.
That was a good heads-up play from Doney there, and Knapp had the right idea, but just couldn't finish off the pass.
Doney spins away from pressure again, eludes 2 players, tries to keep it. He's finally dispossessed by Gary Henderson, and now Cincinnati can possess in the midfield. John Cottrell all the way to the back. Here's Drew Midkiff. Brian Knapp sitting as basically the number 10 in this role, where he's right behind Doney, doesn't really have a ton of defensive responsibilities, and that's really where his value is at this point in his career. A good sliding challenge from a Cincinnati player at midfield. Doney all the way back, almost at midfield, comes close to winning it, takes down a Cincinnati player who is offended by the call, and it's a free kick almost exactly at the midfield stripe here at
Cincinnati. From Buffalo get back, kind of reform.
Midkiff in by Andrew Ferguson of FC Buffalo. Now back to Midkiff. He'll drive the ball long towards Slopemaker, who wins it cleanly out of the air himself. Ball to Rob Randell, who veers away from pressure. A good challenge there by number 19, Phil Haggerty. He's a former Drexel player. That Phil Haggerty of Cincinnati, I should say, for our listeners. Randell back to Bobby Ross, who plays back to Andrew Coughlin. Coughlin short to Fox Slopemaker out of the back. The ball slips under his foot, but no one from Cincinnati is there to pounce on it, and Slopemaker recovers. A short ball over to Connor Willings, who plays the ball wide to Bobby Ross. FC Buffalo content to possess in their own third. Before a long ball by Bobby Ross goes right to goalie Justin Saliba of Cincinnati. So right as they were starting to establish possession, they give it away with a long ball.
I believe that the term is a searching ball, Ben.
on the left wing now for Cincinnati. A searching ball there is headed away by Bobby Ross. Haggerty comes away with it. Haggerty working a little two-man game on the left wing. Plays the ball back square to Cottrell, who mistouches it. And Kwame Sarkodie was somewhere that he wasn't. And the ball is out for a throw and a touch.
We mentioned the Detroit City Cleveland result last night. And just a reminder for our viewers, this year in the Midwest region, the top 4 teams overall will qualify for the Midwest playoffs. So it's an unbalanced schedule, so there are teams competing for those 4 spots with FC Buffalo that they may not even play this year. So every game is really valuable, and it's really important to get the results at home and try to get the away point on the road.
A dangerous play, and Drew Midkiff does well for Cincinnati to elude pressure. Finds Haggerty at midfield. Haggerty slots the ball through. Some space now on the left wing. Craig Hurd on the left side, marked by Bobby Ross. A good ball into the box, volleyed away by Fox Slopemaker, the last man back, but a good build-up finally for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati catching Buffalo, playing a high line there.
For strong New Zealand influence. Given away. Number 18, Justin Smith at midfield for Cincinnati, out wide to Nathan Sexton. Sexton tries to find Sarkodie down the wing, and Bobby Ross is after. It turns into a 50-50 ball, goes straight up just near the FC Buffalo 18. Ball goes wide. Brandell finds a Kesey. Kesey veers back, plays Bischoff square. Bischoff wide to Brian Knapp. Tries to play the ball up the right side, knocked out of bounds for an FC Buffalo throw-in. Knapp's long throw finds Doney. 2 players converge on Doney. Doney shields off, and he manages to lose both. He's by himself on the touchline, plays the ball in towards Andrew Ferguson, and a good defensive play to recover by Cincinnati, but well done by Scott Doney to shield off 2 defenders and play a dangerous ball.
Very well done. You see his big 6'5" frame there, able to, like you said, shield the players off and really create an opportunity there, and maybe a half a step behind the play, but good throw-in opportunity for Buffalo here.
Brian Knapp's heave into the box towards Sloatmakers, one out of the air initially by Cincinnati. Ball played outside the 18. Craig Hurd now, with his back to his own goal, plays the ball back to Nathan Sexton on the left side. Cincinnati will have a chance to possess now. We are 22 and a half minutes gone. We're halfway through the first half. It is 1-0 FC Buffalo. Their goal coming from Julian Akese in the 11th minute. On a, not to bring up the mishap in the back for Cincinnati again, but the goal was probably gifted.
They all count the same, Ben.
They all count the same. Cincinnati approaching midfield. Nice give and go, and the ball's now played wide to R.J. Best, who has some space to run at Matthew Ferguson. Best plays the ball right into the feet of Sexton. Sexton can't keep it, and Andrew Ferguson for FC Buffalo comes away. Scott Doney tackle from behind. Drew Midkiff wins the free kick. Doney working hard, also playing very physically. It's been called for a couple fouls, but he's also created a couple chances early. So
yeah, it's great to see. I mean, you've got a forward of that stature checking back that deep to challenge balls and win challenges, and maybe not win challenges, but really maybe stop the flow of Cincinnati's attack, and it's a big plus for a team.
Doney and the center official are already quickly becoming close friends as they've have had more conversations than you and I have had maybe already today. Ball played directly in towards a Cincinnati midfielder, won by Brandell. Given away, though, by Andrew Ferguson. R.J. Best glides away from pressure, finds Cottrell. Cottrell plays wide for Cincinnati. Justin Smith now all the way back to Nathan Sexton. Sexton splits for John Cottrell. Cottrell wide now. Number 18, Justin Smith, plays a ball down the line in the direction of Craig Hurd. Won easily by FC Buffalo, but there's a lazy ball out into the midfield by the Blitzers, and now Cincinnati can run at the defense. Right through the middle, has a shot at goal. Number 20, Mark Hansen, a dipping ball to the far post, but Andrew Coughlin got his mitts out and punched the ball away just to the right of the right post. Good reaction, and really the Coughlin's first test of the game.
Yeah, and Cincinnati really doing a good job of putting Buffalo's back line off kilter and creating the space there to challenge Coughlin, but he was up to the task for sure.
In-swinging free kick here towards Coughlin in the box. A pretty comfortable catch there by Coughlin, who sprints off his line. Well done by the Canisius keeper there to stop the initial shot and to gobble up the ball on that corner kick.
Yeah, had a big freshman season with Canisius, going with 9 wins, 3 ties, 6 losses, 8 shutouts. Really impressive first year for a young keeper.
Gary Henderson for Cincinnati plays the ball square. Cottrell over to Kwame Sarkodie. Cottrell now. RJ Best calls for it on the wing. He has a little space to move if he wants, but he decides to play the ball back to Henderson. Henderson patiently in the midfield, taken away by Julian Akisi. He has a one-on-one break, slots through, comes out on Saliba, tries to kick the ball under him, but Saliba off his line does well to knock the ball away, but terrific effort there from Julian Akisi. Anticipate a pass, jump in front, and create a chance all by himself.
Fantastic heads-up play again. He's got the experience of some good years at Niagara under him, and he's got the ability to read the play and really slot in there and create opportunity out of nothing.
Deep throw in now. This is Nanu Ferguson. Throws the ball into the box, headed away easily, but the ball's out to Connor Willings, who has a good volley at goal, wide of the frame, but he hit it with pretty good authority. Goal kick coming out for Cincinnati.
Let's be honest, Ben, you would have taken that shot.
Well, of course. I wouldn't have hit it with quite as much gusto as he did, though. We are under 20 minutes left in the first half, 1-0 FC Buffalo. The home opener, the season opener for both teams as well. This is FC Buffalo's only game this year at Howe Field here in Hamburg. A very interesting story, and it seems like an annual drama where FC Buffalo is going to play each year. But fortunately this year, not only is Hamburg very gracious in letting them play the first game, but the rest of the games, the home games, will be at All High Stadium. FC Buffalo is home in basically from the start of the club all the way through 2013.
That's right. Yeah, fantastic venue. Really, for soccer fans, it's reminiscent of the old Highbury with the covered stand, and Hamburg's been great, but it'll be a very, very nice homecoming to All High at the intersection of Main and Hurdle next Saturday against Detroit.
During our stadium chatter there, you heard the oohs and ahs from the crowd. Andrew Ferguson with a really nifty flick away from a defender, leaving the defender a little confused, and then an immediate volleyed ball by Ferguson. It's just beyond the reach of Julian Akisi, but Akisi and Ferguson, the two wingers, really making their imprint on the game early on, and that's exactly what head coach Brendan Murphy and Bob Roach want. As you can tell by their shape and their personnel today, that they really want to exploit the wings. They really want to go up and down, and they want to find the head of Scott Doney in the box.
Yeah, it's very promising, Ben. With our season preview, we thought maybe veteran Anthony Rosano or Jabari Danzi would be filling out the wing spots, but you're seeing some great contributions from those two, Z and Ferguson. And depth is always good at this level, and they're going to need it if they want to go far this year.
The preview in the Buffalo News today, too, it pointed to the depth that FC Buffalo has that hasn't been there in past years.
That's right.
Brendan Murphy said that there's a starting caliber player, 2 starting caliber players at every position, and that's something that definitely hasn't been the case in the past. And you can see that the footprint isn't quite as local as it's been in the past, but it seems like the actual quality is better. So we'll take one, and it'll be all right. Doney going forward. Doney tries to find Akisi making a run, picked off by Kwame Sarkodie, the captain for Cincinnati. He'll drive the ball up the wing. Bobby Ross wins it cleanly in the air. Brandell works back, but a nice touch there by Phil Haggerty to Craig Hurd on the left wing.
Yeah, Ben, when you can lean on former pros such as Kendall McFadden, who's a fantastic all-around athlete and a veteran of this league and this club, it really bodes well for the coming season.
Kendall McFadden out today with an injury, but is expected back pretty soon. He was, I would say he was FC Buffalo's top player, especially down the stretch last year.
Yeah, he's a great player, able to slot in at center back or at forward, and a real asset for the club.
His center back partner last year for a little while, Liam Callahan, is playing for the Toronto FC Academy team.
Oh, that's great.
He's still at Syracuse, transfer from Villanova. Liam Callahan is a Sweet Home grad for those of you familiar with Western New York. It's
really great to see these opportunities to for local players to Toronto.
It plays the ball wide to Matt Ferguson. Buffalo going wing now. Matt to his brother Andrew, a long ball into space for Julian Akisi. Akisi will beat the defender there, touched by involved.
Honestly, some other players might be able to opportunity there.
going to get it to a side. The Rochester Rhinos. He was stands.
He was a fan past.
Field. Matt Bischoff throws it.
You know, for fans out there,
it's 2-0. Strikes again. Ball. 2-0 FC Buffalo. Minute.
Fantastic. And what a ball. Ryan Knapp really playing Julian Akese in, and Akese had no doubt about the finish, finishing well to the far post. 2-0 Buffalo. What?
By netting that he's.
That's right.
All his life. And it seems second nature for him to pick that one out.
If you give futsal players like that an opportunity, they're going to punish you.
More of a commanding lead now for FC Buffalo, 2-0, heading in towards the final 12 minutes of the first half. A dream start for Brendan Murphy's club as he sits back and claps and smiles on the bench.
Hamburg agrees with them, no doubt about that. Like I was saying, Ben, we're talking about Russ Cicerone a lot, and for good reason. For fans who might have not seen a game last year, who are new to the club, Cicerone, one all-time club assist leader and single-season gold record holder. So he's definitely left some big shoes to fill, and that's going to be a question ongoing through this season. But so far, Buffalo's definitely risen to the challenge.
Ball played ahead. Donik doesn't win it, but the ball goes forward to Andrew Ferguson, who shields off a defender, tries to flick the ball through to his on-rushing brother. Isn't completed, but the ball back to Connor Willings. Connor Willings chooses to play the ball square to Matt Bischoff, who has about 10 yards of space to move forward. Plays the ball to Days.
Oh, come on. Terrible.
Harsh. Right.
Terrible.
Too soon if you're a Patriots fan. Ball played long, out of play by Slopemaker, who's sent some ambitious balls out of the back today. But still, like I said, a dream start for FC Buffalo. At home, in front of a pretty encouraging fan turnout. It's hard for us to see the stands all the way across, but I think it's...
Yeah, it's great. Hamburg's definitely come out in force for this, and it's kind of short notice, so it's great to see the club really extend their reach to the South Downs here.
Matt Bischoff back into the FC Buffalo third for Fox S as is the ball. Half. Ball played forward for Ferguson. He has time. It's Bidkiff on his back. Plays the ball to his brother wide. His brother swings the ball with his left foot. Too far for Akese, who'd gotten a little bit too much pushed inside. And a sliding tackle by Kwame Sarkodie goes all the way back to Matt Bischoff. Bischoff on the right wing will serve the ball himself, driven into the box. It
didn't challenge him, but it wasn't a hasn't attacking third. And the difference in the far that chemistry early on that Buffalo has and Cincinnati has not exhibited.
Thanks again for joining us, whether you're watching us on the live stream on WNYmedia.net or listening to us on WBNY. We're excited to be able to simulcast in it be for either persistent fouling or dissent. I'm not sure which. Henderson.
Buffalo has had a lot of brother combinations. Ferguson, it's confusing. I hear you, Ben.
Matt Ferguson, deep throw towards Doney. Doney pushes off, and he gets called again, and he is frustrated. Doney raises his arm in question, won't even look at the ref this time. He's frustrated, and a little bit of a little discontent coming from the Situation Room too. FC Buffalo supporter group.
You know what? He's frustrated, but again, that concept of center of gravity, he's really pulling in a lot of attention, be it the refs or the players. He's opening up space for guys like Julian Akese who have converted.
Akese into space towards Doney. Doney slides to ground, and it's going to be a goal kick for Cincinnati. The center ref runs towards poor Scott Doney again, who just seems to have done something to upset the referee, because I wouldn't anticipate him getting too many calls with the rest of the
I'll
match.
tell you what, Ben, I'm excited to see Scott Doney's first game against Erie. That'll be a good time.
What Russ is referring to is Erie is known as not only FC Buffalo's rival, but one of the more physical teams in PSL. And Doney
Just a really he's had the he has the opportunity in him and the ability to really pick a pass and finish off with no problem.
Russ, you were just discussing brothers earlier in relation to the wall side, with Matt Ferguson playing left back and Andrew Ferguson playing left midfield. It's quite the family connection we're developing out here.
That's
early
right.
On.
It's a family club, Ben.
Throw in for Cincinnati on the left side, or right side, excuse me. Gary Henderson plays the ball back into the middle. Henderson looks up, tries to find a target downfield. He'll play a deep ball towards Slopemaker, goes over his head, a bouncing ball dangerously, and Bobby Ross heads back to Andrew Coughlin, who goes to ground and has a Cincinnati player fall on top of him.
Ben, go ahead, Ben.
He's a little shaken up, and the ref and a player are over.
Hard to. Coughlin's first time in quite a while to speak to FC Buffalo's quality in the first half so far. He's up and sitting, and hopefully looks okay. But again, like you said, never want to take any challenges or take any chances rather with head injuries and the like.
Maybe we'll see a little stoppage time here, though, at the end of the first half. We're just over 5 minutes remaining, a 2-0 FC Buffalo lead. Winning balls in the air, Russ, today. Bobby Ross and Fox Slopemaker have won everything in their direction.
No question. Yeah, it's Bobby Ross was never a question there, but seeing Fox Slopemaker and with Austin and to slot into the center midfield there, it's going to be a good battle to see who gets a starting spot week in, week out for this season, and a really good overall positive for the club.
It's like a bandage being applied onto Andrew Coughlin's face. His nose, he's clutching his nose. I'm not really sure what exactly is wrong, but the FC Buffalo goalie here is being attended to by a trainer. A little meeting between the Cincinnati back line as this injury is taking place, trying to get some structure, as that's really been the Achilles heel for Cincinnati so far, because the Saints honestly have been able to connect decently in midfield at times, haven't generated many chances going forward, and they've just had problems galore in the back, because whenever FC Buffalo has pushed numbers forward and countered it all with an odd man rush, Cincinnati just seems confused in terms of their defensive shape.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's a two-way street. I mean, Cincinnati definitely has some of the sharpest, but there has been some very good quality passing movements forward, as you saw with the nap assist on the second Akese goal, which shouldn't take anything away from FC Buffalo. But, Cincinnati definitely has their work cut out for them.
A heel flick from Andrew Ferguson goes out of play. Andrew Ferguson has a little bit more flair to his game, Russ, I'd say, than his brother Matt. Ferguson already with a nifty juggle away from a defender and a driven volley on the net Julian Akese that we saw earlier on. It's just flashes of brilliance like that can really, spark a crowd and get fans excited about a game, but it also can infuriate a coach. So it'll be interesting to see how he kind of straddles that line.
Yeah, and it's it's great because Cicerone had that ability last year, but now I think you've got a lot more balance across the rest of the club when it comes to just defensive competence and the ability to go forward and be dangerous. But you also want the ability to entertain. This is it's a semi-pro team, and you want to be able to attract fans and play in an attractive style.
Doney tries a back heel in the direction of Brian Knapp, and it's picked off by Cincinnati. And
You don't want a back heel there.
Another back heel by Cincinnati's John Cottrell puts Cincinnati in trouble, but they managed to escape, and now Kwame Sarkodie goes up the left wing. Quick burst of speed. He's past Rob Brandell, but Brandell recovers and plays to Connor Willings in the midfield. Connor Willings up towards Brian Knapp, plays the ball square to Julian Akizi on the right wing. He has room to run, plays the ball forward to Doney. Doney plays the ball through into space, but Akizi slowed his run, and Cincinnati will have a goal kick coming out.
Whenever Cincinnati moves up, you never really feel like Buffalo's ever too stretched so far in terms of being able to win the tackle or read the play and cut out the pass. And I think that's been the difference so far in this first half, of the ability to really control the game and not be too bothered by anything that any kind of ideas Cincinnati has going forward.
Russ, we knew the two center backs for FC Buffalo, Fox Lowmaker and Bobby Ross. We knew what they bring to the table. They're very good at winning balls in the air. They're competent with their feet, but we weren't sure what they'd have on the outside. Long ball played over the top, to Scott Doney. Saliba off his line, almost to the top on the right side, about 4. Tries to lose pressure. Too soft for Bischoff. Sarkodie jumps in for Cincinnati and pokes the ball out of play. Throw in about 45 yards away for FC Buffalo on the right side.
Yeah, Cincinnati is a club that's really making an effort to be a community club the way that FC Buffalo is in the southern Ohio region.
Bischoff on the right wing. Bischoff plays Brian Knapp, who's chugging after the ball. Tries to get around Sarkodie, but the big-bodied captain refuses to let the other captain for FC Buffalo get in there.
Yeah, and Cincinnati, like I was saying, they were, they're very, very community-orientated. They're doing a great job of trying to, outreach to soccer fans in that metropolitan area. I know there has been some talk of a, USL team there, but I think you're really seeing a lot of these MPSL Midwest clubs like Detroit and Cincinnati and Buffalo, maybe Cleveland as well, really put their stakes into the ground and saying, we're this city's team, and we're getting the grassroots support that, maybe an NASL or AUSL team doesn't have just yet.
And Russ, they have their own broadcast. They have their own preview video. Like, Cincinnati has it figured out from the media standpoint.
Absolutely.
You can really appreciate that as an NPSL team who's seen other clubs come here and seem very confused in that regard. So kudos to Cincinnati for really being on it. And we'll give them a mulligan today for not having a team sheet or really too much that's going on. But from all we've seen so far, Cincinnati seems like a class organization from an administrative standpoint.
Plus their women's club. It's really great to see a club be a club.
A break for RJ Best. Bobby Ross chugging after him, slides, wins the tackle, but there's going to be a foul, and I think Bobby Ross is going in the book.
Yeah, he got all man there. There was no winning of the ball, I think. He might be pretty lucky here because it looks like it's just a foul, but it'll be a dangerous position for Cincinnati and ability to pull him back here.
We are in stoppage time of the first half. FC Buffalo leads 2-0, but a dangerous free kick outside the box. Probably of the first half. Standing over it is Phil Haggerty and Mark Hansen. Haggerty wearing 19, Hansen wearing 20. Would not be shocked if Hansen, number 20, hits this. Coughlin setting up his four-man wall, yelling from his near post. Russ, this could be a turning point here if Cincinnati can convert on this set piece. Sarkodie over it as well. Over to Sarkodie on his left foot. Blocked by Bobby. Craig Hurd plays the ball. And it's going to stop. Even though a while ago, I can't imagine there's going to be too much more.
No. Yeah, and this will probably be the last kick of the half for Cincinnati.
Craig Hurd standing over it. He's an in-swinger. Drives the ball. It's blocked. Temporarily slow out of trouble. Thank you. Back to Frank
News late this week. Those of us who followed our 26 Shirts campaign will know that we raised money for young
Yeah, that's like 6 or 7 under.
We are back for the second half of FC Buffalo against Cincinnati here at Howe Field and Hamburg High School. It is 2-0 FC Buffalo. Julian Akizi with a brace in the first half for the Blitzers. We are back underway. Cincinnati going right to left, wearing black. FC Buffalo going left to right, wearing navy blue. No changes, it appears, for FC Buffalo for their at the break. Scott Doney remains up top. Brian Knapp, Julian Akizi in the midfield, as well as Andrew Ferguson and Connor Willings and Rob Randell. In the back, Matt Bischoff, Bobby Ross, Fox Slopemaker, and Matt Ferguson. Cleveland possessing in their own end. Drew Midkiff picks his head up, plays a target ball to number 12, Cottrell. Cottrell knocked to the ground. Julian Akizi comes away with it for FC Buffalo, but Cincinnati wins a tackle back. Ball over to Justin Smith, who plays the ball wide on the right side to Gary Henderson. Henderson finds a nice checking run from number 20, Mark Hansen. Plays the ball up the wing to Fox Slopemaker for FC Buffalo, who knocks the ball down the touchline. FC Buffalo plays the ball forward. A nice defensive play there by Cottrell. Fighting after it still is Andrew Ferguson, Cottrell, and Gary Henderson spins away from pressure for Cincinnati and wins a throw-in.
Ben, it's a really great half from FC Buffalo, really making Cincinnati look silly, I would say. Julian Akizi doing a great job of really slicing the Saints defense open and establishing Buffalo's lead here.
Cincinnati possessing in the midfield. Phil Haggerty checks back now, dribbles forward, plays a target ball up to Hansen. Hansen dribbles back towards his own goal, finds number 12, Cottrell. Cottrell out wide. RJ Best flicks the ball through to Haggerty. Haggerty tries to play the ball over Slopemaker's head. Slopemaker volleys it high in the air back towards his own goal. Here's RJ Best, defended by two blitzers deep in the left corner. Nice Cruyff move back to the touchline. Tries to swing across in, knocked out of bounds by Bischoff, but it's going to be a corner kick upcoming for Cincinnati.
Yeah, good early energy from Cincinnati, forcing that corner. Like you said, the nice Cruff turn, and good early challenge for Andrew Coughlin, marshaling his defense here.
It's RJ Best who's going to stand over the set piece again. He took all their corners in the first half as well for Cincinnati. Best raises his hand to serve the ball in. Bends toward the near post. A goal for Cincinnati. That is Phil Haggerty who gets on the end of an RJ Best cross. 2-1, and FC Buffalo's lead is cut in half in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, great cross from Best, and Haggerty didn't really even have to move. Just nodded the ball into the far post and cuts the lead in half.
Haggerty, an attacking midfielder who played at Drexel, was one of the players that head coach Dave Wall mentioned in our preview series that is a guy who was going to play a prominent role, and he definitely makes his mark of this goal early in the second half. You're right, he didn't jump. He was unmarked, headed the ball right past Coughlin, didn't have enough time to react. The FC Buffalo keeper didn't, and we're back having a ball game. Throwing in their own end for Cincinnati. Kwame Sarkodie throws across field to Midkiff. Midkiff plays the ball wide to Henderson on the right side. Henderson with Andrew Ferguson chasing hard. Ball played back to Henderson. Henderson to Haggerty, who's been very involved so far. Haggerty and Hansen are the attacking pairing that FC Buffalo really needs to be mindful of. The two really main threats to strike. Ball played forward errantly by Sexton. Picked off by Bobby Ross, who plays Bischoff. Bischoff with a good target ball to Willings. Willings doesn't see Hansen coming in from behind. Hansen picks his pocket, but it's given right back as Slopemaker steps in front nicely, anticipating and winning the ball. Slopemaker has some words after a tough tackle in midfield by RJ Best. RJ Best is lucky to escape without getting a yellow. He's getting a stern warning, though, from the center official. Last year, FC Buffalo, they went 5-1-8, 5 wins, 1 draw, 8 losses. And the one knock on them last year, other than just not having a great record, was not being very mentally tough.
That's right.
They conceded a lot of goals in the final minutes of matches, back-breaking goals, like absolutely crushing goals. I can't emphasize this enough. Against Erie, against Indiana, games early in the year where if they'd collected 3 points from it or even a draw, depending on the situation, it would have changed the whole landscape of the season. This is a good example here where FC Buffalo has a comfortable 2-0 lead heading into the break, concedes early in the second half, and now, will they be able to protect that lead? Are they going to continue to falter, and is this going to be a very, very even game the rest of the way, or are they going to respond and play like they did the entire first half?
That's right, and it's a big question because you don't have that many veterans returning. You have only 7 total veterans on this team, and only a few of them are starting tonight. So it's going to be a big question for this club for the duration of this game.
Cincinnati possessing now on the left side. Sexton plays a short ball. Cottrell controlling in the middle. Plays outside of the foot pass and nicely forward to Hurd. Hurd back to Cottrell. A good challenge there by Rob Randall for FC Buffalo. Forces Cincinnati back again. Henderson on the right side. Plays to Cottrell. Spins away from pressure. Plays back to Midkiff. Midkiff eyes a long ball downfield. He changes fields in the direction of Kwame Sarkodie. Headed away by Matt Bischoff for FC Buffalo, but it's out of play and a throw in right by midfield for the Saints. Again, that early goal in the second half came from Phil Haggerty of Cincinnati. The assist directly off the corner kick from RJ Best. So that's Haggerty from Best in the 48th minute, bringing the score to 2-1 FC Buffalo. Good win in the midfield by Brandel. A slight counter. Now here's Andrew Ferguson trying to play the ball through, knocked away by Sexton. Ball played comfortably back to Sexton now, looks upfield. Plays the ball to the outside of his foot into the middle, but it's won back by Connor Willings. Brian Knapp gives the ball away for FC Buffalo. It turns into a 50-50. Bischoff goes in hard, knocks the ball off of Craig Hurd and out of bounds for an FC Buffalo throw-in.
Yeah, Matt Bischoff, another really good fullback prospect for FC Buffalo coming out of Pitt from Fairport, New York, so a Western New York native, but really able to contribute as a fullback coming out of the right wing.
Good combination between Akizi and Brian Knapp. Very well done by Akizi to find Knapp's feet. Knapp tried to play Doney through but could not connect. Good defensive play by Cincinnati. Slopemaker with a dangerous ball back. It's 1-on-2 right now for Cincinnati. It's on the wing. Craig Hurd connects with RJ Best, plays the ball forward. John Cottrell takes the spill. A back heel from Brian Knapp in the middle, gets away from pressure. It's given right back, though, by Brandel. A terrific tackle there by 23, Greg Henderson. But FC Buffalo advancing up the left wing now. Andrew Ferguson with a great cross ball. Read well by Sarkodie, who volleys the ball out of play. Beautifully done by Kwame Sarkodie, the Cincinnati captain. Under pressure with Julian Akizi breathing down his neck. Sarkodie volleyed the ball deep out of play. Not an easy position to be in there when you're a defender.
No, both Sarkodie and Bischoff really doing well to track back and cut out the play there. Those attacking moves for both Buffalo and Cincinnati on those 2 sequences.
A target ball there from Connor Willings to Scott Doney. Doney tried to spin away from pressure and turn at the same time and had no luck as the ball is out for a goal kick.
Yeah, tough goal to concede early on for FC Buffalo. They came into this half flying really high, and just that one set piece really gives Cincinnati the momentum that you would say could change a game in this early on second half stage.
John Cottrell wins the ball, and a foul on Rob Brandel means there's a free kick about 7 yards shy of midfield for the Cincinnati Saints. FC Buffalo with a contingent of players warming up. We're only 9 minutes into the second half. Again, it's 2-1 FC Buffalo. Cincinnati possessing in their own end. A deep ball is given away. Good early touch there by Connor Willings. Williams to Knapp, now over to Brandel. Brandel plays the ball square to Akizi. Akizi has Doney open at the far post. A block by 24. Nathan Sexton saves the day briefly, but there's a Jarble in the box now, cleared away from danger. A nice counterattack there, Russ. A ball from Andrew Ferguson, then over to Brandel to Julian Akizi on the right wing. A good change of fields and able to use a very fleet-of-foot player into space. Unfortunately, unfortunately for FC Buffalo, Sexton recovered and got a foot right on that cross.
You really saw Doney become a pest in the middle there, attracting that attention and really confusing the Cincinnati defense into creating that opportunity that, unfortunately for Buffalo, didn't turn into anything. But it was a very good run from Akizi and good combination play.
A stumble in midfield by Brandel. FC Buffalo manages to recover, however, and the ball's back to Bobby Ross. Ball sprayed nicely by Connor Willings over to Matt Bischoff on the right wing. He has plenty of space to gallop forward. He's got Akizi to his right. Beyond midfield now, Bischoff driving at the defense, finds Akizi on the right wing. He has space to go to the end line. Drives the ball across to the back post. No one there for FC Buffalo. There's Andrew Ferguson, with a drive that slices and hooks well over the top of the goal. A goal kick upcoming for Cincinnati. Russ, one of these times I'm going to get this, the Ferguson brothers correct.
We're going to get there, Ben, you and me, till the end. Good run from Akizi down the right channel. Even with the poor cross/shot from Ferguson on the left, it was more of a good, promising play from Akizi. With 2 goals already on the night, he's not taking the second half off by any means.
I think one thing to keep in mind, Russ, is you saw Cincinnati score off a set piece. Cincinnati had a couple dangerous set pieces in the first half, but never really threatened too much. But that was just a well-executed play. So we'll keep an eye on set pieces going forward and see how FC Buffalo defends them.
It was a perfect ball for sure.
Header forward by Bischoff in the direction of Doney. Won by Sarkoti, but it falls to Brandel. Brandel with a short pass to Brian Knapp. FC Buffalo into Cincinnati's attacking third. Here's Andrew Ferguson. Knifes past the defender. No foul. Ferguson on the ground, looking slightly confused. Slopemaker wins it, though. A good track back by Mark Hansen. Hansen plays back to Cottrell, who has lots of time to spin in the midfield. Henderson maneuvers away from pressure now. Brian Knapp still closes in on him. Ball played forward, intercepted by Connor Willings in midfield for FC Buffalo. Played into a target for Doney. Doney was wrong-footed, though, and the ball goes back to Cincinnati. RJ Best gets away with a handball on the right side, but he does not get away with it. Spoke too soon. It's going to be a free kick coming up for FC Buffalo, about 10 yards beyond midfield. 12 minutes into the second half now. 2-1 FC Buffalo. Thank you again for joining us on WNYmedia.net's live stream, as well as 91.3 FM WBNY.
Seeing some FC Buffalo reserves on the sideline there warming up. Wonder if we'll see Jeff Thomas, a classic spark plug for FC Buffalo, out of midfield, or perhaps Austin Place slotting into the center of defense.
Andrew Ferguson's driven ball now headed away by Cincinnati. Ball floats high in the air towards Akizi. Akizi heads into a dangerous area, but flicked away by 2 Cincinnati defenders and out of play for an FC Buffalo throw. Designated throw-in taker, Brian Knapp. It's always kind of awkward to watch him at these points of games because he can be a long way away from where a ball goes out of play, and he's got to sprint all the way over and it's just to throw the ball in across the field. And that's the value he has, though, is he's a terrific throwing specialist.
He's not a young man anymore, Ben.
Throws the ball in towards Doney. One in the air. A great chance for FC Buffalo, but Andrew Ferguson at the back post mishits his volley. It deflects out of play. It's going to be a corner kick, but I think you would have liked a little bit better there from Ferguson.
Yeah, the full volley is always tough, but got the corner out of it.
Always the optimist. It appears to be Andrew Ferguson, who is just going to follow to the right corner and take the set piece. FC Buffalo with a lot of height in the box. Obviously the 6'5" Doney, but Fox Slopemaker in there as well. Here's the ball, very deep. Headed back into the fray. Knocked out to the top of the 18. Here's Akizi with a drive, and it's blocked by Mark Hansen. Ball scoots out to Andrew Ferguson. Knocked away nicely by Kwame Sarkoti to keep possession.
Not to keep harping on Russ Cicerone, but one place for FC Buffalo who they might be looking for in terms of a go-to man this year is a set piece or a corner taker.
An ambitious driven ball through there by Connor Willings. Saw Akizi's run in behind the defense, but it was a little too far, and Saliba was off his line smartly to cover that up. Here's Haggerty rushing forward, Tackled by Brandell. Haggerty goes to ground. It's a free kick and a yellow card for Rob Brandell of FC Buffalo. 60th minute. Brandell goes into the book. It's the third yellow on FC Buffalo today.
As the cards pile up, you might see a more liberal substitution policy. Definitely more than the 3 allotted subs that most professional leagues see. As I believe we'll see a Cincinnati substitution here.
Those 3 yellows on FC Buffalo, just to track what Russ is saying as far as players who are carrying a yellow. You just saw Rob Randell get one. Scott Doney got one late in the first half, and Matt Bischoff got one in the 13th minute. So those are FC Buffalo blitzers who are carrying a yellow. As far as tracking this Cincinnati sub, we will do our best to get that in a second. Nice move away from pressure. Opens up space on the touchline for Cincinnati. Cleared away by a nice decisive tackle from Matt Ferguson.
Looks like Craig Hurd was coming off for Cincinnati. Just didn't catch the player coming on.
Another chance of the wing. Touches a little long and out of bounds. I believe that was RJ Best getting forward again. He's been a threat on the wings today as well.
Yeah, he's had a very good half, both from set pieces and off the ball runs, and really threatening Buffalo from those off channel runs.
Just as you predicted, Russ, I believe we'll see a wholesale substitution, not wholesale, but quite a few substitutions coming up here for FC Buffalo. We see Brian Knapp coming off the pitch. He's going to be replaced by Eric Dahl.
Eric Dahl's a very exciting, attacking number 10 type player. Really good heads-up play and the ability to pick a pass and really contribute to perhaps a guy like Scott Doney or Julian Kesey. So we'll see how Dahl adjusts to this game.
Dahl is absolutely a player that the FC Buffalo coaches are excited about. He just has a very long stride. He's very technical. I think very high expectations, and he only got in last night very late. A foul on Bischoff running forward, and it's going to be a free kick for Cincinnati. A little bit more discontentment from the FC Buffalo fans, but I didn't see that one as being anything to complain about. A free kick coming up for Cincinnati's goalie Saliba, 17 minutes into the second half.
Ben, you really take for granted these players coming in off their college off season and needing housing and needing perhaps work and different things like that you don't see in the pro ranks.
Here's Dahl in space, plays the ball down the line to Doney. Doney tries to shield off a defender, but he is going to might go into the book again. In on the tackle. Doney realized that late, ended up tackling the guy who was running to his left, went down. It seemed like a foul. It didn't seem like it was worthy of sending off, but I mean it's not our decision, it's the referees, and FC Buffalo down to 10 men.
Yeah, it's too bad you're already seeing Dahl being really active on that first sequence, but now he's essentially up top by himself, so he's not going to be able to perhaps combine that well with other forwards or wingers. And going back to the early Cincy goal, they've got a man advantage for a good while now, and we're going to hopefully see Buffalo close this one out, but it's going to be a challenge for sure.
That sub for Cincinnati that we missed was Christian Montoya. He's wearing number 80 for the Saints. He is playing right now. He's the farthest player up the pitch for Cincinnati. He's chasing down a ball with Flock Slopemaker right now. He goes hard into Slopemaker's legs. The AR raises his flag, and I think we're going to see another card. This one coming to Montoya.
The referee better here. Perhaps not.
going into the book.
Oh, there he goes.
And that's a yellow from Montoya just a couple minutes after entering. 65th minute yellow card. 2 minutes after Doney's red.
It's okay to be liberal with the cards, but again, just call it both ways, and the ref did there. So good on him.
If you're just joining us, I'm Ben Sujimoto, joined on color commentary by Russ Andolina. We are 20 minutes into the second half. It's 2-1 FC Buffalo, but the Blitzers are down to 10 men due to a 63rd minute red card given to forward Scott Doney. That was 2 yellows that led to his red, and FC Buffalo is going to have to protect the lead with a one-man disadvantage.
It was a very quiet 2 yellows, Ben. I never really thought of any of Doney's 2 yellow cards that those were particular yellow offensives. But again, the ref's down there and we're up here.
Russ, I saw his first yellow as more of a persistent infringement and maybe dissent.
That's right.
Being farther away from the field, it's more difficult to see exactly what it was for. I think maybe in the future when we have a sideline commentator, maybe that will be beneficial to us.
Extremely beneficial.
Kwame Sarkodie at midfield. It heels the ball forward to Phil Haggerty. Haggerty loses Bischoff with a nice turn. A bit of a chance here for Haggerty. Bischoff goes in with a tackle hard, but Montoya keeps it on the touchline. Montoya for Cincinnati plays the ball square into the middle. Best gets to it first, but the ball deflects off an FC Buffalo player out of bounds for a corner kick. A dangerous chance. Montoya getting into a very dangerous place. Saw a diagonal run across the box from his teammate. Best hit it off a defender and out of play for a corner kick. A Buffalo player or a Cincinnati player, I'm not sure. One player was down on the carpet. It's hard to tell.
I'll start with a really great touch from Haggerty on that sequence. Bischoff coming off again, a respectable performance, I would say, from the Pittsburgh man. Kind of highlighting Buffalo's fullback depth this year.
Kevin Kapak, the second Marist player entering the fray. He'll be wearing number 2 for FC Buffalo. He sprints onto the field.
Again, Kapak with Red Bull New York Academy experience, so he's definitely has attracted professional attention.
He's a quintessential outside back. He'll likely be slotting in here at the right side. Ball played back out towards the top of the 18. Goes to Dahl, who clears the ball away from danger. And it will dribble out of play. A smart conservative play there by Dahl, not knowing where pressure was coming, and played the ball wide and out of a dangerous area in the direction of Brandel, who's covered a ton of ground today, by the way.
Yeah, for Buffalo, it's not going to be a pretty duration of the game, but they just want to be pragmatic and make sure the ball's out of dangerous spaces and try to close this one out.
Midkiff possessing in the back over to Henderson. Now back to Midkiff in the middle. Midkiff finds the feet of Justin Smith in the midfield. Smith dribbles past the midfield marker. Lays the ball off wide. Here's Sexton. Sexton cuts across the grain. Switches fields. A beautiful ball onto RJ Best's foot. RJ Best with a nice flick, but Fox Slopemaker comes out of nowhere for help defense and clears the ball away. Terrific ball there, though, Russ, by Nathan Sexton.
Yeah, excellent switching of field, but Slopemaker was Johnny on the spot, really closing down the play and forcing that one out of bounds.
Throwing on the right side now for Cincinnati. Nice ball by Haggerty, but it's out of play. Leads Henderson a little bit too much, and this turf can be pretty unforgiving when it comes to pace. And it's not something that FC Buffalo is unaccustomed to. FC Buffalo has played on turf, at least for their home games, as long as they've been in the league, and this is their 6th year. But yeah, sometimes it's an adjustment, especially when maybe you're coming from a college that doesn't have turf and plays on a well-sided grass field or something like that. But sometimes you see a little bit of an adjustment for the players here.
That's right. Eric
Dahl steps in, a good tackle, and the ball is forced to play long by Midkiff. One out of the air by Slopemaker. It's back to Haggerty. Haggerty has a drive towards goal. Andrew Coughlin spills it initially, but recovers just in time to get there in front of not Christian Montoya, but RJ Best.
Yeah, Coughlin never really challenged there. Perhaps a bit awkward in terms of the angle, but he did well to recover and scoop that one up.
Coughlin tries to pick out Julian Akizi on the right wing, but it sails out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Saints. I think we'll see another substitute coming on. That's number 15, RJ Best's day is done, and Cincinnati will have another substitute. Thank you again for joining us on WNYmedia.net and WBNY 91.3 FM. We'll be simulcasting all home games this year, and we haven't confirmed anything yet, but we're likely going to be traveling a little bit on the road too, so you'll be able to stay as well abreast of the FC Buffalo season as we can.
Erie, we're coming for you.
We get to go to Erie twice this year, Russ.
That's right.
It's a scenic drive down the 90. And by scenic, it's really just one scene.
No, it's terrible.
Yep. Ball played towards Brandell in the midfield, played back to Willings, who switches fields to Akizi. Akizi one-on-one with Sarkoti on the right side. Brings the ball down, back to goal now, though. Retreats, plays the ball to Kapik. Kapik with his first touch. Plays the ball back to Bobby Ross. Ross to Brandell. Given away by Kapik to Sarkoti. Sarkoti cuts inside, plays back to Midkiff. Midkiff on the wing to Justin Smith.
Buffalo content to sit back here and absorb all the Cincinnati pressure.
Nanu Ferguson misjudges the ball. Number 9 just in the game is Muhammad Salih. Salih plays the ball into the box, misplayed by Slotemaker, but Andrew Coughlin, alert, collects the deflection and will corral the ball and organize his troops. Under 20 minutes to go, Russ, 2-1 FC Buffalo. The Blitzers down to 10 men after a Scott Doney red card in the 63rd minute. That's really going to be a really big storyline, Russ, if this game ends in a draw and if Cincinnati is able to come away with a tying goal.
That's right, and adjusting for the next game with Doney not available potentially, it's going to be tougher at Buffalo because you really plan around that big target forward, and now you really don't have him available to be that focal point of the attack. So how does Brendan Murphy approach Detroit? And Detroit's going to be a huge, huge challenge, even on the road. With Buffalo going to all here off that 3-2 Cleveland win, it's going to be a challenge.
Haggerty sprinting down the left side. Slotemaker wins it, but the ball is out of play for a throw-in for Cincinnati deep. That substitution, R.J. Best, number 15 for Cincinnati, leaves the game. Muhammad Salih is the new right midfielder for the Saints. He's wearing number 9. Thanks to Cincinnati fill-in assistant coach, head coach, even though I guess he's the head coach today, but he's usually the assistant. Jamie Starr, a former player for the Saints. He helped out with the pronunciations a little bit pregame, so gracious for that. Eric Dahl tackled hard on an odd man rush, and I believe a yellow card is coming out. And yes, a yellow card is coming out to a Cincinnati Saint player. One of their 2 center backs, I believe that's Sexton.
The referee has been nothing but consistent tonight, so again, good on him.
Yeah, handing out cards left and right. This one in the 72nd minute.
Dahl really showing explosive pace there and vision with the off-the-ball run, drawing the foul and the yellow card. So even without the target man up for Dahl, he has been effective at the very least.
Dahl with a very long stride, and that's one thing that's difficult when you're defensive players. You don't realize how fast someone like that can close and get a piece of a ball, and that's just what happened there. Ball played in. Sarkoti heads off the back of his own player. A ball bounces Dahl, and Dahl smashes the ball into the turf, but right at Saliba.
Yeah, the header going off the back of a Cincy defender right to the feet of Dahl. Couldn't direct it to the bottom left corner or right corner, but again, he's in the right spaces in the right times, and that's really encouraging for FC Buffalo.
Russ, I think Dahl was honestly surprised that ball fell to his feet.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit of a ping pong situation in the area where Sarkoti headed the ball. It ended up going off Drew Midkiff, and Midkiff, who was kind of gimpy to get up right now, the ball fell right to Dahl's feet, right on top of the 6, and he almost panicked and just hit the ball right at Saliba.
You're giving me bad flashbacks of last summer's World Cup, Ben.
Sorry. Midkiff showing a little bit of frustration with the referee. To the AR. I'm not sure what for. You don't see a lot of... Oh, he's going to go off the pitch and come back on, apparently due to an injury.
Consistency again from the referee. Can't really complain about that. Runs a tight ship.
Okay, Midkiff back on the pitch, appears to be okay. 16 minutes and change remaining. 2-1 FC Buffalo, clinging to a lead, down to 10 men. Gregory Henderson for Cincinnati from his right back position plays the ball to Midkiff over to Sexton. Sexton plays the ball forward. excuse me, this is Sexton here, plays the ball over to Sarkody. Sarkody higher up the pitch than he has been the entire game. Oh, beautiful spin away from pressure by John Cottrell, eludes 2 defenders. Now he's running at the FC Buffalo defense. Spins away. Dervish with the ball at his feet. To Mark Hansen, a terrific tackle there by Connor Willings. And another solid play there by Matt Ferguson. 2 good defensive efforts there from FC Buffalo's midfield.
Ever since the opening goal from Cincy in this half, Buffalo really hasn't looked challenged, and they've done a really good job of keeping their shape, keeping their composure. Even with the Doney red card, they've been solid, if nothing else.
John Cottrell with a nifty outside of the foot cut away from pressure, plays back. Now here is Sexton going forward on the left side, drives the ball, good one into the box. Matt Ferguson loses his marker at the header by Saleh on the back post. It's knotted down and out of play. An exceptional ball there by Sexton, switching the field, driving one with his left foot, getting the ball over Matt Ferguson's head, but it was a very difficult ball for Saleh to deal with on the left side, or excuse me, on the right side, and he couldn't put it on frame.
That's a big ask at any level, but he made a great run, just couldn't get the power or direction on it. Luckily for Buffalo.
Under 15 minutes to go. Coughlin's goal kick is played very deep in the direction of Dahl, can't win it. Henderson wins it. Ball's flicked forward. Sexton steps up, plays the ball high upfield. Slotemaker pounds the ball forward to number 17 for FC Buffalo. Brett LaRoque is in the game. Missed that substitution.
Likewise.
Yeah. Cincinnati now keeps it.
A lot of enthusiasm about Brent LaRoque from the FC Buffalo ownership group, and the coaching staff, really pacey outside winger from Canada.
Sarkody. Back to Cottrell. Cottrell, who has exceptional touch on the ball. He's turned away from pressure a couple times very nicely in the second half. Mid-kick. Switches fields to Montoya. Montoya tightly marked by Kapik. Does very well to get into Montoya's feet. Kapik wins it, plays it ahead to his college teammate. Dahl gets it back to Kapik. The Maris duo going up the right side. But well won by Phil Haggerty, who tracked back, finds Kwame Sarkody now. Here's a counterattack for Cincinnati. Sarkody away from pressure, tackled by Bobby Ross. Referee says play on. Hansen loses it. And a 50-50 ball in midfield. Kapik keeps it ahead to Dahl.
Bit of a Pyrrhic victory on that combination from Dahl and Kapik, opening up the space for Cincy to counterattack, and we almost had a clear run at goal there on the outside for Cincinnati. So Kapik really needs to mind his defensive responsibilities, I think, early on here, especially playing with 10 men.
Cincinnati possessing on the right side. The ball seems like it's been on the foot of John Cottrell for most of this half. Eric Dahl now for FC Buffalo after a giveaway. He's through 2 defenders, loses it. Gregory Henderson is there to pick up the long dribble, and the ball swung to the left side to Nathan Sexton. Sexton to Cottrell again. Cottrell has Haggerty to his right, chooses not to give it to him. Plays a square ball forward. Hansen lays off on the right side. Here's Saleh. Last-ditch tackle by Fox Slopemaker, and that is a decisive one.
Yeah, Cincinnati really challenging there, trying to disrupt the FC Buffalo shape. But luckily for Buffalo, the challenge went 50-50 and no apparent penalty.
Hansen to Sarkody, cuts away from a defender, has a go at goal, and that hits the uprights of it's the lower crossbar of the
other football.
The football goalposts. A great drive and a pretty fake kick to get a shot off by Kwame Sarkody, and the Cincinnati captain unlucky to hit the football post instead of the soccer target. See, Buffalo dodges a bit of a bullet there from that 19-yard blast. Just under 12 minutes to go. We'll see another FC Buffalo substitution. This time it's Rob Randell coming off.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Ben, this is really crunch time for FC Buffalo. They conceded a lot of late goals last year in the 10-minute mark, or 5 minutes to go mark, or stoppage time. So it's vital that they really see this one out and close it out and prove that they're a different team this year who has the ability to weather storms like this.
Here's Julian Nikisi, the man who scored a brace in the first half, tackled away by Sarkody on the right side. We have a substitute here just now for FC Buffalo, Dylan McVeigh, who's another Marist player and also another player from an MLS academy. He's from Real Salt Lake.
That's right. Yeah, very active two-way player. Big body in the middle, able to pass and tackle. Should be a big asset for the club this year.
Also has good chemistry with Eric Dahl, who will be playing, maybe 10 or 15 yards away from him the rest of this game. So it'll be useful to have that continuity. Another sub, Julian Akizi, the man who scored 2 goals in the first half for FC Buffalo, has accounted for all their scoring, has been replaced by Jeff Thomas, a longtime blitzer, an instant energy player who you will get absolutely full effort from.
Absolutely, yeah. He can really slot it anywhere across the midfield. Like you said, just full of energy, the ability to get forward, to tackle, to defend. He's a fantastic carryover from previous seasons.
Russ, you just missed an awkward little situation on the right side. Connor Willings for FC Buffalo threw the ball in from the track. It bounced before it came onto the field of play, so the throw was awarded to Kwame Sarkodie of Cincinnati.
We've all been there, Ben. Sort of.
Under 10 minutes to go, 2-1 FC Buffalo. Blitzers down to 10 men. And we have another change. That's this thing with this FC or the NPSL where you can make 7 substitutions in a game.
That's right.
You see a lot of changes in the second half, and we just saw another one there for Cleveland.
Cincy. Ohio, it's the same difference.
I believe it's Kadus Tadeli who checks in, number 2. He'll be playing center mid, definitely an attacking threat for these final 10 minutes as Cincinnati will try to equalize. Ball on the left side, Nathan Sexton will drive that left-footed ball again, trying to point out Saleh. Good defense, though, by 17, Brett LaRoque.
Since he's really able to put in a lot of great balls coming in from the left onto that right channel. Luckily for Buffalo, there really hasn't been too much chemistry in terms of getting on the end of it or knocking it down or really being able to create from that right wing as well. So encouraging for Cincy going forward in this season, but not a lot of reciprocation on the right wing.
Under 9 minutes to go, a goal kick by Andrew Coughlin of FC Buffalo flies into the midfield. One out of the air by number 18, Justin Smith for Cincinnati. Saleh collects it right on the sideline, but stumbles and the ball goes out of bounds for a throw-in for FC Buffalo. We'll see how much, Russ, that Cincinnati pushes numbers forward here in the final 10 minutes. Given their man advantage and the fact that all their substitutions have been very offensive-minded, it will leave them exposed, but it will also put pressure on FC Buffalo's defense.
Yeah, that's right. And you're seeing from Dahl the ability to really find that space and sense those attacking opportunities. So we'll see if, since he does push numbers forward, if Buffalo can hit on the counter at all.
Jeff Thomas loses it with his head to Montoya, who switches fields, but it's right at Matthew Ferguson. Nanu keeps it, plays a square ball to McVeigh, but the ball is given back to Cincinnati. All the way back to Drew Midkiff. Midkiff wide to Henderson. Short ball to John Cottrell. Cincinnati possessing the ball in their own half. Now the ball's moved forward and given away on his first touch by Kadus Tadeli. And Connor Willings comes away with it, plays the ball to Jeff Thomas on the right wing. Number 21 for FC Buffalo. Fakes inside, goes outside. Tries to lose the defender. No luck, but well done by Connor Willings to smash the ball off of Nathan Sexton and out of bounds for a throw-in for FC Buffalo.
Wasn't a sexy play, but Jeff Thomas really giving the good energy you want in the deeper parts of the Cincinnati part of the field and forcing that FC Buffalo throw-in.
Connor Willings, who has gone the distance so far for FC Buffalo. He's a player for Bucknell, a guy who's a very good holding midfielder, a distributor. He's had a very effective debut for FC Buffalo. Again, not particularly flashy, but he hasn't made any glaringly bad plays either. Jeff Thomas's throw-in right by the corner flag. Throws it short to Dahl. Dahl sees his college teammate, Kapik. Kapik plays quickly into Dylan McVeigh. McVeigh, early ball to Dahl. He'll have a crack at goal, blocked nicely by Nathan Sexton and out of play. You saw 3 Mariners players touch the ball.
That's right.
Right in a row there.
Great interplay from McVeigh up to Dahl. Hopefully we'll see more of that as the season progresses.
Just touching on that Maris comment, or the Maris connection real fast. Bobby Roach, the assistant coach for FC Buffalo, played collegiately at Elmira under current Maris head coach Matt Vigiano. So that is the connection from these Maris guys to FC Buffalo. Cincinnati advancing the ball up the right wing. Ball sliced out of play. It appears to have been deflected for a throw in. Mark Hansen has been back very deep into the midfield this second half for Cincinnati. Hansen, who's one of Cincinnati's more lethal attackers, has had to come back to collect the ball quite often.
Yeah, I think it's a credit to Buffalo because, you almost forget that they're playing with 10 men and they really haven't looked like they've been down a man. Jeff Thomas pushing up really well and winning throws deep for FC Buffalo. So good on the Blitzers for the ability to cope with that, that man disadvantage.
McVeigh hammers the ball high away from danger, but Sexton collects in the midfield. Plays the ball square to Cottrell. Cottrell weaves away from pressure. Has a nice run on the right side. There's Midkiff. Midkiff, about 35 yards from goal, plays the ball square to Sarkoti. Sarkoti one-on-one with Jeff Thomas on the left side. He's content to play the ball back to Sexton again. Sexton drives this one with his right foot, and Andrew Coughlin is there calmly to catch the sailing cross. Under 5 minutes to go now, Russ. We are in the 86th minute. FC Buffalo clinging to a 2-1 lead, down to 10 men. Really test the fortitude of this FC Buffalo squad.
Yeah, you saw Thomas dropping deep again there. And Ben, I don't know, would you say it's fair that Jeff Thomas is FC Buffalo's Kobe Jones?
I think Kobe Jones had moderately better hair, but other than
that's true. Yeah, Jeff's got to work on that.
Yeah, but other than that, I can see the similarities.
Yes, of course.
A little bit of a tangle there between Eric Dahl and a center back for Cincinnati. I can't quite see. I think that's Midkiff, but Midkiff was trying to get the ball to give back to his keeper, and Dahl would not let him do it. So it was a bit of delay of game, but the center official did not penalize. Entering the 87th minute now. John Cottrell at midfield plays the ball wide to Gregory Henderson.
Buffalo doing a good job of clogging the middle. Really the only threatening move from Cincinnati so far has been those long balls coming in from the left, switching the field to the right, and trying to spring that attack on the right wing for Cincinnati, but nothing doing so far.
Russ, I was a little surprised that Cincinnati subbed out Phil Haggerty.
Yeah.
Phil Haggerty had a terrific game.
He did.
Was one of the Saints' more dangerous players up front, but it's also a situation where Jamie Starr is going to want to use his bench, and this is their first game of the year. You can tell fitness maybe isn't necessarily where it should be,
right,
or where it will be eventually. And
it's tough on the road. You have to marshal your resources over the course of a season like this, and you never want to push your players too hard in a game that might not be within reach.
Slopemaker clears a header away from danger to Connor Willings. Connor Williams picks his head up and doesn't see any teammates there, so he smartly plays the ball down the left side, but it's collected by Midkiff again. FC Buffalo in a defensive shell has 10 players behind the ball. Long driven ball into the box. Jeff Thomas is up for it, deflects it away from pressure, then hustles after it. Ball played square. Here's Montoya facing goal. Drives the ball off the back of Connor Willings, and Andrew Coughlin is spry off of his line to collect the ball. 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, more good hustle from Jeff Thomas in the back end there, and as he jogs up the field, really covering a ton of the ground on the right-hand side for FC Buffalo. So he's been a really bright spot, I think, for the late game here for the Blitzers.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Pallet Service Interiors. Ball played forward for Cincinnati. Still possessing the ball in their own end. Oh, excuse me. Pallet Service Incorporated. I guess that makes a whole lot more sense since we're talking about pallets here.
I think they should expand into interiors, though, if you want my honest opinion.
All right. Ball played back to Coughlin. Coughlin wisely keeps the ball with his feet to waste a little bit more time until he's pressured, and now he picks the ball up. 1:35 on the clock plus stoppage time. We shouldn't have too much stoppage time in this one. But the waning moments, you'll see Cincinnati sending several numbers forward, and we'll see if FC Buffalo can maybe stave off one or two more attacks.
Speaking of sponsors this summer, Ben, Big Ditch Brewing creating a FC Buffalo beer, the first ever, actually. So I'll be looking forward to that being on tap at Mesquite.
Saliba plays the ball high on his punt. Tadele plays the ball with his head, but it goes to Slopemaker. Slopemaker clears the ball away. 50-50 ball at midfield. Connor Willings steps in front, gets the ball to Eric Dahl. Eric Dahl with a strong run to the corner has to Daly right on his hip. Jeff Thomas forward has Connor Willings. Connor Willings spins away from pressure. Chips the ball to the left side. FC Buffalo possessing nicely. A crack at goal. A good save by Saliba. That was Brett LaRoque with a good test there of Saliba, but the Cincinnati keeper was there to foil it.
That was an excellent move from FC Buffalo. Eric Dahl really exhibiting his quality there, holding up the ball, finding the space, putting the right pass in place, and LaRoque unlucky to not finish there.
Ball played forward to LaRoque. LaRoque plays the ball to Eric Dahl, but a great tackle away from danger there by a Cincinnati player who starting to cramp up slightly but gets to his feet. We are in stoppage time of the second half. FC Buffalo leads 2-1, protecting a lead with only 10 men. Thrown into Dahl. Dahl's first touch is heavy. Plays the ball long back. 3 minutes of stoppage time, I believe we're told, so that's a decent amount of time for Cincinnati to at least get another chance at goal.
With the Cards, I would say that's fair.
Throw in for Cincinnati in their own half on the right side. Oh, a careless giveaway there by Cincinnati. Jeff Thomas steps in and wins the ball, dribbles the ball to the corner to waste more time. He's knocked to the ground by number 12, John Cottrell.
Ben, I wasn't kidding about Jeff Thomas with his Kobe Jones antics. That was an excellent reading of the play, drawing the foul. That's huge in this late game stage for FC Buffalo, playing down a man. So good on Jeff Thomas. He's had a great late game.
Chance of Brendan Murphy coming from the Situation Room, FC Buffalo supporters group. Brendan Murphy, of course, is FC Buffalo's head coach. His first game of his third season.
That's right.
Matt Ferguson stands over the free kick for FC Buffalo. He's taking his time. Referee blows his whistle. Here's the curling ball towards the back post, headed away by Cincinnati, but it'll trickle out of play for an FC Buffalo throw-in about 30 yards from goal on the left side.
Yeah, Brendan Murphy coming into this club first year, takes them to their first ever playoff appearance in Detroit. Unfortunately, didn't go the way that they wanted to, but there's a lot to build off of. And, maybe perhaps last year's a rebuilding year, and this year they have more of a stable core of players, like you said, that are able to slot in and start and really not see any drop-off in quality. So if they can close it out here, it'll be a very promising start to the season.
Throw in from Cincinnati in their own end. Forward to Tadele. Tadele plays the ball up to Montoya. One out of the air by Bobby Ross. Jeff Thomas heads the ball straight up in the midfield. McVeigh heads it down. Only as far as Cottrell. Cottrell cuts away from pressure, plays the ball square. Tadele loses the ball again, and here's Eric Dahl. Eric Dahl, a one-man counterattack the other way as LaRoque hustling on the left side. Eric Dahl away from pressure is dispossessed. And the ball over to Cincinnati. A good step by Dylan McVeigh, however. He clears the ball out of the play. We are probably 2 minutes deep now in stoppage time. Kwame Sarkodie high up the pitch. Slopemaker takes it, drives the ball out of play, well out of play. Referee doesn't even have the whistle in his mouth yet.
Dahl almost catching the Cincinnati Saints, pushing a little bit too high up there, but couldn't get the outlet pass off to the right wing.
Justin Smith over to the right wing to Henderson. Henderson has Cottrell. Cottrell plays the ball forward, but to no one in particular. Dylan McVeigh dispossesses him, plays the ball off a Cincinnati player and out of bounds. A clutch, poised play there by Dylan McVeigh.
Yeah, all of the FC Buffalo substitutions. There you go.
That's the final whistle. FC Buffalo victorious in their season opener, 2-1 over the Cincinnati Saints. Both goals coming from Julian Akizi. FC Buffalo heads into their second home game next week with a 1-0 record, a confident start to the 2015 season. Russ, I think without a doubt it's Julian Akizi who's tonight's man of the match for WNY Media and WNBNY. We don't have to choose a different man of the match for each one. But thank you for joining us again. I'm Ben Sujimoto, joined by Russ and Alina. FC Buffalo victorious in its first match of 2015, 2-1 over the visiting Cincinnati Saints. Thank you very much for joining us from Howe Field on Hamburg High School. We'll send it back to Frank and Ryan at WBNY, and thank you for joining us on WNYmedia.net.
Tonight's FC Buffalo